think the challenge before us now is to stay awake. To not let the comforts that we enjoy in our neck of the world ever allow us to fall back asleep again. To search out our own hearts for those dark places and start right there to love better. And to also follow what's in our heart in terms of where we feel called to make a contribution or a difference to the larger human family. And that's not going to be the same for every one of us. And it's a good thing that it's not going to be the same. It's going to be different. Some are going to be inclined to do what they can to change our politics. Some are going to be inclined to get out there and roll up their sleeves and go to developing countries and help people become empowered to lift themselves out of poverty. Some are going to be inclined to work on issues on the environment or issues concerning abuses to young girls all around the world. But there's something in your heart, a place where you are called to make a difference. And it doesn't have to be a big one. It just has to be yours. It just has to be yours. One of my favorite lines in the Course in Miracles is this one. The holiest of all spots on earth is where an ancient hatred has become a present love. I think of two geographical places when I reflect on that line. I think of the Middle East, which is a hotbed of so much fighting and ancient hatred. And yet, in the place where it seems to be the darkest and where hatred and lack of understanding or cooperation seems to be the strongest, it is the potential place where the greatest healing could happen. The holiest of all spots on earth is where an ancient hatred has become a present love. I am not a fool, but I am an eternal optimist. And I am that because I believe in the inherent goodness of all people. I believe that when we treat people with respect, I believe that when we treat one another from the highest in us, that when we don't let others go without, when we do what we can to help even the playing field, that people show up according to their true nature. And that true nature is not a violent nature. The other place I think of when I read this line, the holiest of all spots on earth, is where an ancient hatred has become a present love, is ground zero. I am a native New Yorker. I was born in Queens. I grew up on Long Island. I remember that skyline. I also remember being at ground zero. I remember hearing stories, more recent stories, about needing to build memorials and gardens and things that would recognize all faiths. And I remember hearing the same kind of reaction when I had the imam come to our services. Some people were very angry about that. We need to drop those boundaries in ourselves. We need to realize that not every Muslim is a terrorist, any more than any unity person is a terrorist. The holiest of all spots on earth is where an ancient hatred has become a present love. What if ground zero could be one of those places where instead of having hatred and fear awakened in the heart of our country, that we stand on the ground of being a model that is smart and compassionate and wise and is inclusive.